And as always, before doing anything, we'll go ahead and do a safety check. And it is clear of any ammunition. Magazine is empty. So we'll go ahead and go over the controls and features of the KelTec PMR30. Here's the trigger. It is a single action only trigger. Have the safety. Red means fire. To engage the safety, you would lift up. And of course down to disengage. The magazine release is a heel release located right here. You would simply push in on that to release the magazine. This is the slide lock. The magazine does activate that via this little tab right there. When the last round is fired and the follower comes all the way up, that will push up on the lock. As we can see, then that locks it in place. Of course, to release the slide, you would just pull down on that. This is the takedown pin. It goes through to the other side, right there. And those are the primary controls of the PMR30. So let's take a look at disassembly. First, we'll remove the magazine. The takedown pin, you simply push with some type of a hard object. Then that releases it. You can pull it through. The slide then comes off the frame. The frame itself, we have the hammer here. This is the ejector. The feed ramp, of course, there. And basically, you would just want to wipe everything out, clean any grit or grime, lightly coat the surfaces, the metal surfaces with oil, and the rails assemblies. And that's pretty much as far as you'll want to take this apart. The slide is where all the action takes place on the PMR30. This has what they call a delayed blowback action. And by that, basically what happens is there's a barrel block here that locks the barrel to the slide. And it's not really, it doesn't lock it, it just kind of pushes it in place. And what the way it functions is the 22 Magnum or WMR ammunition is a straight-walled case. And when the firearm fires, the case expands slightly and it actually grips a hold of the inside of the chamber. So the way this works, and the pin goes through there and locks it to the frame, so that would be rigid to the frame. So when you fire the gun, the blowback will push the slide back, and the barrel can move back and forth in that barrel block. So what that does is it allows that cartridge case to expand and grip the chamber just slightly. So while this slide goes back, the barrel will stay in place where it's at for just a little bit. You see that comes forward about a, I don't know, quarter to a half inch before it would actually then start to open up all the way. And that allows the pressures to then drop to a sufficiently safe level before it opens up that chamber area. And that's basically how that would work. So as far as disassembly, what you need to do is, this is the recoil spring. The recoil spring goes through the front of the slide right there. You can see that. And it goes into a little recess on the barrel block. So basically, you just need to push this forward some, grip a hold of it. You can push the barrel block back, and then just lift up slightly to lift it out of its recess. And then you can remove the spring. It is a captive spring, so that makes it actually, it's not too bad. If this weren't captive, every time you would take this apart, I imagine you'd have to go on a hunt for springs. So, you know, that's a good design there. At that point, you could take the buffer out. Then you can slide this barrel block all the way forward, and then it lifts out. The barrel, you can then tilt up and remove from the slide. So as far as then the rest of the parts here, it has dual extractors on both sides there. You can see them from this side here too, the little hooks. and that's what would grip a hold of the rim of the cartridge to pull it out of the chamber. And so you want to clean everything off, wipe it all down, get any grit and grime out of there. Same with the barrel block. Go ahead and wipe it all down, clean it up. The barrel, the outside and inside. Wipe off the springs. Basically just wipe everything down and clean it nice, nice and clean. Coat everything with a light coating of oil. And then reassembly is just the opposite of the assembly. Now if you notice the barrel, there's that little feed ramp extension. That will go, if you have the slide upside down, toward the top. It goes toward the bottom of the gun, so if the slide were right side up, this would go like that. So that would just drop into place. Then you go ahead and push that forward. Put your barrel block back in place, and then slide it back. Then get your spring. The large end, there's two kind of sides to it. So if you forget, this is the side where you can push that through. That will go toward the front. We'll first put our buffer back in. It's got two little half moon shapes. The larger one goes around the barrel on the bottom. Then put the spring back in, and then you just push forward and down to lock that back into place. Line up the rails with the rails on the pistol. Push the pin in, and it's all reassembled. Do a function check just to make sure it works. And that's it.